Hello and welcome to the Moon Report. My name is Marlene, the modern mystic, and your resident moon goddess. How are we feeling collective? How is this new moon in Leo treating everybody? I hope and I wish that for all of you, you are feeling the fire and the radiance of Leo and all the beautiful creative and adolescence energy that can flow through us when Leo is front and center, which Leo loves to be front and center and in the limelight, doing its thing. So this moon is interesting. I've been doing research on it all day because it doesn't happen to me often, but um, I heard and kind of like sensed different things myself than from other astrologers that were talking about this moon, and everybody seems to have their own take on it. And just before we went live right now for the moon report, we were talking behind the scenes, which by the way, you're always welcome to join us behind the scenes in the moon report. Just find the link on Mighty Networks and we get to hang out before and after and talk about how these energies are affecting us. But we were talking, and some of us are saying, oh my God, I'm on fire. I can't stop. I'm doing all these things. I'm in my creative space. And others were like, for example, me, I want to slow down. I'm feeling like I can slow down time. I really want to take things softly. And it's funny because this is exactly what was mirrored as I was doing my research on this moon. And, some astrologers were like, this is a soft moon. This is a nice moon. Go ahead and set your intentions and do your ceremonies and rituals. And then I heard astrologers go, okay, this is going to be a dramatic moon. And this is why. So, I decided to sit in my space and kind of feel into this energy today. And I am going to share with you exactly what I felt during that time that I was sitting with this Leo moon. This Leo moon happened in 23 degrees of Leo, early morning, about 5:30 this morning. And this new moon is really propelling us towards the North Node. It's in a trine with the North Node in Aries, and it's really pushing us towards self realization and activation. And, the moon is also conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which is an asteroid. And this asteroid represents the dark feminine aspects of us, of each and every one of us. And in this case, that conjunction brings in this edge for Leo. Also, Venus is in retrograde in Leo and just had a chasm with the sun days before this new moon happened. So there's so many planets involved here before and then after, because this is all leading us into a Mercury retrograde. Mercury is already in pre-shadow, getting ready to go retrograde. So the activity around this moon is just as important as this new moon in Leo. So to kind of break things down about everything I just said, let's talk about Venus retrograde. Have you been feeling it? I want to kind of share with you the themes of Venus. We've been talking about this retrograde since last report, but you could be feeling questions and introspection coming around finances, around relationships, around dynamics of relationships and what you value. And things can get a little bit dramatic with a Venus in Leo, but being that it's retrograde, I find it, this is my opinion, I've been finding the chaos that Venus has been bringing into the space, into this realm. Um, uh, it's it's like this energy that you can harness in a really creative way. You can use it to create some beautiful expressions of what you're feeling, but it has to be connected. You have to connect to your heart in some way. And if you're trying to mind your way out of certain energies, my advice is to move into your heart and see if you can find a connection to forgiveness and surrender. Because it is a lot easier to go with the flow right now than it is to resist energy that you can't really understand. And Venus is doing its little retrograde dance, and it's already had its second square, 2 out of 3, to Uranus. Again, Uranus can be erratic, sudden insights, feeling like a lightning bulb, certain changes that 1 minute you perceived a certain way, and the next minute you have a different perception. And it could be shocking, it could be jarring to your system to have certain insights that all of a sudden come to light from a really hidden place that you did not expect. So, you know, it's important to really dive into what Venus is trying to share with us about ourselves. And for those astro enthusiasts that are watching, maybe go into your natal charts and find where this retrograde is happening. Think, where's Leo in my chart? Find the house and then see where this activity is happening for you, right? And what themes are coming around that particular house where this is happening. So this Venus retrograde had a chasm, which means that it came in conjunction, it came into the exact place where the sun is. And this happened in a way where, like, the way that they express this, or I've heard astrologers express this, is like the planet that comes in contact with the sun goes through the rays of its light, is filtered through the rays of the sun's light, almost burned by the sun. And that is high, high level transformation. So, what I want to say is that if there are things that are coming up in that way for you, take care of your nervous system. If you do have a sudden bolt of energy, if you're one of those people that I was talking about at the beginning that is feeling like they have so much energy, find a balance, gauge yourself. Don't run 3 days on full throttle and then burn out you know, like being extinguished by the sun. Find that balance that works, or use the energy to help you find the right balance for you, where you can move from productivity into rest and restore, and it's easy for you to make that transition. Okay. So with the aspects of Venus with Uranus and the sun and this moon in Leo, you're going to find people taking risks. You might even be thinking about taking risks. And it might be a risk where you know that you're gambling, but you are consciously moving into that space knowing that. And if you're feeling like risk taking right now, if you're feeling like taking leaps right now, yeah, absolutely. You're supported. Don't be afraid if it feels a little risky, if it feels like you're gambling. Check in with support systems that can check you if you are out of your mind, if you are like making decisions on impulse, right? Create your check system that gives you that safety and security in some way, but don't think you're going to have it all before you make the decision. There's still going to be a little bit of energy that may feel like, you know what? I know that this is like, maybe I got a, kind of like a 50-50 opinion on what I should be doing, but I really, really feel like this is something that I have to do. As long as you're not making poor investments, meaning using your disposable energy and your valuable energy towards things that aren't going to be life enhancing or aren't going to move you forward into a place where you want to go. But the harsh reality is that it's going to take hard work. It's going to take time. It's going to take your patience, and you may not get that return or that evidence right away. And it felt so risky to begin with. So there may be a little bit of doubt. There may be a little bit of insecurity as you're moving into maybe new projects, new relationships. And it's big with relationships. Apply everything I just said and put it towards relationships. Feeling risky, 50-50, but you're leaning towards that. Remember, and this has been coming up all week, remember that two things, three things, four things can be true all at the same time. It's not or, it's and. And if two things for you are existing at the same time, we may be conditioned to try to put it in no, I feel this way. Well, can't I feel this way and this way at the same time? The dichotomy of what we're feeling right now may feel a little bit radical. But it's okay. Two things can coexist. Three things can coexist. Five things can coexist at the same time. You could be sitting with all of them. But if there's something that you've really wanted to invest in, but it has been slow to develop, it's good to check in right now and see, hey, is my energy that I am investing, is this really paying off for me? Is this exactly what I want? Is this in alignment with my passions, my dreams, my goals, the person that I am becoming? Bring that person into this space now. Be that, feel that as much as you can. Embody it as much as you can. As much as you can perceive how it's going to feel as you're becoming that person. There's a lot in the becoming right now and how we're handling that space, that vacuum. Because it feels like it's taking time to develop. And there's all these moving parts. And it could get a little frustrating. When we're dealing with time, it could get a little frustrating. So, like I said, we're dealing with this retrograde. We're moving into Mercury retrograde coming up. And Mercury's already in pre-shadow, which means it's already on its way, on its trajectory You may be seeing themes or feeling themes come up. I know I've been having techie stuff all week. Things are just not working. And like I'm getting like appointments confused. Like I went all the way to like the mini dealer to drop off my car, and my car didn't have to get serviced. Like, it's like things like that. It's there's going to be a little bit of confusion, and it always does with a Mercury retrograde for you beginners in astrology. A Mercury retrograde meaning Mercury is going to appear for a period of time like it's looking backwards, moving backwards, excuse me. And it's happening in the constellation or sign of Virgo. Its ruling planet is Mercury. So it's going to be an intense one and can come with a lot of confusion. Not so much like around communication, but more like around like not so much like conversations, but like around getting like confused about things. Oh, I thought it was yesterday, or oh, I thought it was this person. So just double check, triple check, do, your due diligence around details. Um, if you're dealing with health conditions, this is going to be an excellent Mercury retrograde for coming up with a plan of action that is going to take you closer to health, figuring out logistics that you can, like certain routines or certain treatments that you can put in place that are going to help you move forward with this that you're dealing with. And really, it's not about big moves so much as little steps that accumulate to big results. Really being conscious and intentional about how we're moving closer to health. And even if we're not dealing with a health condition, these themes are going to come up around how you move on a daily basis and how is that working for you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, especially through the body. So it's a good time to detox. It's a good time to put certain like maybe nutrition, either restrictions if that's what you're looking for, or adding more vegetables, more water, more hydration, making certain tweaks, small tweaks that can help improve your quality of life on a daily basis. So, the confusion is going to start around the 21st of August. Mercury officially goes into retrograde August 23rd. The confusion that I've been talking about is usually it'll usually start coming up around topics or themes where you need more information. So if you start feeling confused about certain things, stop and get more information before you either plan what you're going to do or actually do that action. I like retrogrades for planning. I try to avoid, and most astrologers will recommend to avoid any kind of final kind of life-changing decisions around a Mercury retrograde, right? But it's always good to plan. So, for example, around health, maybe you've decided that you're going to make certain tweaks in your supplementation. You're going to change brands. You've been taking this certain brand and you feel like you want to change things up. You want better ingredients. You want to add a little vitamin C, blah, 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 probiotics, prebiotics. Excellent time, by the way, to work on your gut. Excellent time. But let's say this is your case. Well, maybe you might use the Mercury retrograde to research certain brands, make sure that those ingredients you're looking for are part of those brands. Ask people that you trust or experts around certain things that you want to ingest. Maybe, decide on, a certain um, mentorship or workshop that you maybe want to take once Mercury goes direct, and you can move forward with a plan of action, right? So that's the example like I would use like to focus on a big change. Supplementation for me is a big change in your body. From going from one thing to another, it shifts everything. And there are certain reactions that your body can have. Maybe that's not a decision that I'll want to do during the retrograde, but I will have done my due diligence by the time Mercury goes direct, and then I can move forward with my plans. So I hope that that clarified a little bit about what I'm talking about. And, there are times where you're going to have to make decisions on the spot, and you're going to have to make decisions. I mean, life is life, and you're going to have to maybe make a few decisions during a retrograde. Fine. You know, take your time, double check, cross your T's, dot your I's, have somebody look at things, or if it's a contract or if it's something where the devil's in the details, maybe have somebody that's really good with details take a look at it 2, 3 times, maybe 2, 3 people. Um, you know, do what you need to do. Use your intuition and your common sense around retrogrades like this. Okay. So I think that's all I have for you. The energy is going to remain a little wonky through the end of August. So this new moon is actually a really good moon to set intentions. The kind of intentions that I want you to set though, or that I invite you, I don't, you do as you wish. Your intuition is queen and king. But you know, get whimsical with this. Almost as if you're wishing upon a star kind of intentions, you know? Um, Things that you wish and can let go right away. Keep it light, keep it airy, keep it transformative, allow yourself to be adaptable. It could get kind of dramatic with Leo, and they are a fixed sign. So the more malleable you can stay, the more flexible you can stay, the more enjoyable that this new moon and the intentions that you want to manifest will come to you. Leo is a really fun sign, really, really passionate and all heart. So connect to your heart, as I told you at the beginning. Let your desires come from that place. Even if you have to physically touch your heart, before you speak, before you act, it would be a beautiful way to connect with yourself and this energy that is available for us to create magic around. And, you know, we we are moving towards what we want to, you know, create. But there is a process of self actualization, self realization that comes along with hard work and investing energy and making it pleasurable and fun all at the same time. And, all of these things can exist within what you're creating. It doesn't have to be one thing or the other. You are the manifester, you are the designer, you are the creator. But just know that it's going to take time. It is an investment in you, and it's going to develop at the pace that it's going to develop, that it's meant to develop. And that's the fun part, where we get to let go into that, where we get to lean into the flow and know that we are part of that as we're coexisting, as we're co creating. So enjoy anything you're gonna do tonight and throughout the weekend. Keep it light, keep it fun, and I always send you so much love. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up. Whether you're here now or watching the replay, I am so grateful always for your support of these reports and the love that you always send me. Thank you so much. Ciao, collective.